All right, Sean Lennon with the Pro Wrestling Enforcer. Make sure to check us out on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook. And right now we got a special guest join us, Trevor Outlaw. He is joining us here on PWE to talk about, his career. Unfortunately, he has an injury he suffered, but, he had an amazing year in 2021. We saw him get wins over Effy. We saw him get over Danhausen. We saw him get over Kylie Rae. So we are very excited to have Trevor back on Pro Wrestling Enforcer. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. As far as introductions go, that was not the worst, not the best. I have this thing where everybody that decides to interview me, I have to kind of give them a judge of how they open their show. I'll give you you've been good to me, so I'll give you like a 5. We'll give you a 5.
All right, I'll take it.
Keep working on it. Sure. Make sure whenever I'm here, you got all the glitz and glam. Maybe some confetti cannons. I will not be shooting them, of course. We know that that's not. I'm above that now. But jazz it up a little bit for me.
Okay, well, yours rudely, Trevor Outlaw on PWE.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. I'll tell you what. I'll bump you up to a 6.5 now because of that. Awesome. That's the best rating I've given out yet. You're welcome.
Well, let's talk about 2021 and what a year it was for you. I mean, unfortunately, you did suffer that injury, but how do you feel the year went for you?
I think I would consider 2021 a little bit more of my rookie year. I guess it's technically my second year of wrestling, but between the pandemic, losing as much time as I had throughout that with, the original lockdowns, then things kind of came back a little bit. Then we got locked down again. 2020 was kind of weird, so I don't really count it, but 2021 was great. I started off the year wrestling that GCW show, the 24-hour show. And I had a feeling, it was 5:00 in the morning. I was dead tired in a triple threat match with Baby Bang and Jacob Dean, who I sent his ass packing. He's no longer in the business. Starting off with that to kind of seeing where the rest of the year would progress, where I after I went to the Nightmare Factory, things really took off for me there. Wrestling guys like Colt Cabana and Eric Cannon, Midwest legends, independent wrestling legends that, you can learn a lot from those guys. But then I fast forward to the second half of the year, which, I would like that to be the majority of the focus, because that's when things really started turning up a notch for me. I had the match against Danhausen where I won. My second time wrestling Effy, I won. I think to have a year like I did, to have beaten names as big as those guys, Effy's the biggest professional wrestler on the internet. Danhausen's you just got signed to AEW. Danhausen's crossed over outside of wrestling, to beat two names of that caliber. And not to forget Kylie Rae, but, someone who trained me, those are huge things. So, it sucks to have gone down the way that I have, but I would like to say that this has humbled me, but it really hasn't, because my ACL has been torn my entire wrestling career. When I found out the news, it wasn't because of, beating Matt Nix's ass on his birthday and then, hopping down. I didn't tear my ACL. It was just a freak thing. That was the last straw that broke, the camel's back, so to speak. So you were actually the one that had the footage from when I got hurt that had the best angle. And I was looking at it and, I couldn't make sense of it. I was like, there's no way I tore it through that. To later discover by the doctors that, it's been torn for over 2 years. He's like, I started to develop a little bit of arthritis too. But all of that, I got all that taken care of. As of now, I'm 2 months post-op or 6 weeks post-op. And I'm ahead of schedule. My surgery got moved up a month. On top of that, I'm ahead with my physical therapy. So I'm feeling great.
Awesome. Yeah, glad to hear the update. And do you watch your matches to review them during this time? You ever think, oh, I'd like to add this or?
pretty much have not watched any wrestling for the last month. I just kind of started watching it again maybe about a week or so ago. I think it was important to have a little bit of a disconnect. I know that I'm one of the hardest workers in the room, but I'm just not somebody that shows it on my public platforms. I don't think that the work that's put in and expected is something that needs to be glorified and praised for. But I bust my ass, and I needed a little bit of a break, so that I don't grow bitter with the business, because I skyrocketed so quickly, right? I went from a brand new wrestler on the scene trying to bake off of free shows to main eventing sold out freelance shows, in no time. It's a hard thing. It's a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow, when you start to get a little bit of buzz. But for me, it's being taken out by something completely out of my control rubs me the wrong way, and it pisses me off. And there hasn't been much going on the past couple of months because of winter and COVID picking back up, so I'm not really missing out on much. But I'm going to give you a spoiler. I don't really think anybody's going to be able to step up to the plate to the level that I do while I'm out. I don't. You might have your next clip wrestler who did a triple backflip off of a bunch of people, and then someone's going to recreate that, and then keep doing that. Somebody will be buzzing for a few minutes, but I don't think anybody's going to leave a bad taste in fans' mouths, and I don't think someone's going to be as memorable as I am. So good luck to anybody taking my place while I'm out. I'm watching, I'm waiting. I don't see anybody stepping up though.
I got you. Well, how about Matt Nix and you? What happened there? Why has it gotten so personal?
It's been personal from the start. I knew that I was going to be something special in professional wrestling from the day that I started training. And I outworked everybody in the room. I was doing a lot of things behind the scenes to help out at the shows, and, really just trying to do the grunt work because I thought that was how I was going to get my opportunities. And to see Matt Nix only giving his closest buddies opportunities, and flying in all this great talent, and everybody shitting on Freelance on the internet saying like, oh, there's no homegrown guys, blah, blah, blah. No, there's plenty of local people, but Matt Nix is selfish, and Matt Nix will only help out who Matt Nix wants to help out. I thought we were friends. I thought he would be somebody that saw how hard I worked and would give me an opportunity, and he never did. He left. He decided to leave Freelance, and he decided to leave wrestling for a while. No disrespect for taking a break, but he gave up on the thing that he created, and that's something that I don't respect. I bled Freelance, and to not have gotten a bone thrown my way felt like a slap in the face, because what happens when you do put me on? I'd be Effy. I make a name for myself in a weekend that's not supposed to even have me featured. I main event 2 shows for Freelance, back to back, sold out houses. And then Matt Nix comes back, and we've got to give him his birthday celebration. Fuck that. Okay. That is the most narcissistic thing ever. Congratulations. We know you started the company. Yeah. Like we're all so proud of you, Nick. Thank you for creating this place. And I appreciate what you have done building Freelance. But you know what? It's not about you. It's not going to be about you. Your time is over. You and your buddies had fun, but this is a business. This is a place where stars are made. And I'm the biggest star that is ever going to come out of this place. And I get treated like shit by him. So yeah, it's personal now. And that the last thing I got to do before I had surgery was beat the shit out of Matt Nix. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because there still hasn't been a match. I have a lot of things to say that unfortunately physically I cannot back up right now. And he's going to have to listen to it, because those shows, Freelance will not survive without Trevor Outlaw. Trevor Outlaw will survive without wrestling. He's not going to survive without me. So, I'm going to make Matt Nix's life a living hell until I get medically cleared. And then when I'm medically cleared, I'm going to beat the shit out of him on his home turf. And then I'm going to take the Freelance Championship. In that order.
All right. Bold statement.
It's inevitable.
And we also know Pat Monix, he doesn't get along with Matt Nix. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I love Pat Monix. You know, I think a lot of people understand Pat. You know, I don't think Pat turned his back on the fans at all. I think Pat is putting himself first, and as he should. You know, he busted his ass for all these people who, you know, they all love him. You know, he got his flowers, but people gave him his flowers after he had to stop wrestling, and that's shitty. I think we need to normalize giving wrestlers their flowers when they're wrestling and when they're around. And when everybody else was big leaguing me and acting like I wasn't going to be, you know, the next big thing that I am now, Pat treated me like a human. A lot of sound advice, which has gotten me to the places that I am today. You know, that's he's taught me the things that I should do that'll help me get ahead. And you know, I'm happy that he beat Matt Nix's ass. Yeah, I really am. You know, because it feels like a victory for me. But until I get my hands on him myself, it's not going to be the same. You know, I can get the short-term satisfaction, but this isn't going to be over until him and I go at it one-on-one.
For sure. Are you a CM Punk guy or MJF guy?
I mean, I like them both. I think I get a lot of comparisons to MJF because I speak my mind and I don't give a shit about anybody else's feelings. And I don't pretend to be somebody I'm not, like everybody else in wrestling so blatantly does. CM Punk, you know, I grew up on the guy. You know, he's the guy that I watched. He's the one that, you know, and if there's anybody that made me want to be a wrestler, I guess I would have credit a lot of it to him. But now, you know, it's different now. I'm a wrestler now. You know, he's back and he's got a top spot. And, you know, I would be stupid to say that if I had to choose one of them, I want to wrestle. You know, I want to wrestle CM Punk the most because I want the throne of Chicago. I want that throne, but I also want the best. I also want the throne of the world. But knowing that throne sits in this city, he's the one that I got to take down to get it.
I got you. And you ever see yourself going into acting one day? You have a lot of charisma. You have you know, a lot of bravado.
Yeah, I mean, I was born to be a star. I mean, that's evident. Yeah, wrestling's not going to be, you know, something forever. I'm not going to be one of those guys wrestling at bingo halls when I'm in my 60s and 70s. No, you know, I'm gonna show the professional wrestling world what a real star looks like. You know, I'm gonna kick some ass, win some titles, you know, pop a few ratings, and then I'm gonna take my happy ass to Hollywood, and I'm gonna do a better job than Dwayne or John.
Cool. I can see it.
You're a smart man. You recognize talent when you see it.
Definitely. Will you get an official Black Label Pro debut match? I know last time it didn't go over so well.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't in my gear when I had to wrestle Josh. I was originally supposed to be on the show, and then my match got cut. So, and it got cut in my hometown nonetheless. So I went out there and I tried to hijack the show, take a little bit of promo time because, you know, there's 50 matches on those shows and not a single person can talk. So, you know, I think I needed a little bit of Trevor Outlaw on the show. And Josh Bishop to kick my ass. And I mean, I was in slip-on Vans and short shorts. I was not in, you know, I didn't have my knee pads on. I didn't have my gear on. You know, I wasn't ready for a match. He also threw me through chairs. Why was there no disqualification? No one said that this match was no DQ. I mean, never mind the fact that I swung it at his head first, but still, Black Label Pro owes me a proper debut. So, you know, weird. I will get that match, but I'm going to keep pestering them and I'm going to keep hijacking their shows until they confirm that I will have a match. And it'll be a match that I know about in advance so that I can properly prepare. But most importantly, so I can do what I do best and properly promote the show, because nobody can do a promo like Trevor Outlaw.
Definitely. So that leaves a sour taste in your mouth when you see that poster with you on it.
100%. Like, don't use my picture on a poster if you're not going to keep me on the show. Like, what the hell? Like, I know I'm handsome. I know I draw tickets. I know even if people don't know me, they're going to look at me and see, you look at a wrestling poster and you see a lot of these guys, you're like, oh, wow, these guys look like losers that lives at their mom's house still. But you see me on a wrestling poster, you're like, holy shit, who is this guy? But there's actually someone good looking at one of these shows. Maybe I should go check it out. And then they come and see me. But you put me on that poster, you run a show in my hometown, and then you cut my match, and I find out on Twitter, like, nah, that's not okay. That's not okay.
Speaking of Twitter, congratulations on, getting unsuspended from Twitter.
Fuck Twitter. Honestly, you know what? I liked it better not being on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Twitter changed. I came back to Twitter and Twitter wasn't the same. It was a long hiatus. I was unjustly suspended. Throw Cole Radrick on that list of names when I come back, whose asses I'm going to kick, because when we had our scramble match at Underground, I said I was going to punch him in the face, and I very well did so. But unfortunately, his tweet was the one that got me suspended, cost me thousands of dollars on booking opportunities, merchandising, royalties. So I'm going to punch him in the face again when I get medically cleared.
Got it.
I might also punch the CEO of Twitter in the face too, Jack Dorsey. He stepped down.
I'd love
he's
that.
A bitch. He didn't want. He couldn't handle the smoke with me anyways. So
yeah. And I'd be a fan of that.
Who wouldn't? Trevor Outlaw puts asses in seats.
Definitely. And talk about the Nightmare Factory. I mean, that was such a good time that you had, training there, getting to be with Cody and QT Marshall. But
Sure.
one of the guys that you seemed, not to get along with was Brandon Gore. Is that true?
Brandon Gore. Yeah. We got to cross paths this fall right before I got hurt. In his neck of the woods, in the middle of podunk nowhere. Him and I wrestled, and I beat him. But Brandon was the guy that everybody looked at as like one of the captains of our camp, and I also was looked at like a captain in that group. So naturally, when you have two top dogs vying for the top spot, egos are going to clash, heads are going to butt. Mountains need to be climbed, and ultimately I climbed that mountain, partner, and I proved that I'm the top dog out of that camp.
For sure. And you said I think Cody had favored Brandon, right?
Mm-hmm. Him and Kid Bandit.
Okay.
So Kid Bandit's another one. I was at Kid's first match. Now everybody's talking about him because of me. So Kid Bandit, you're welcome. And you owe me a rematch when I get back.
Definitely. That's on YouTube if people want to check it out.
Mm-hmm. Most viewed Nightmare Factory showcase of all time, by the way. Coincidence? I think not.
Definitely not. And talk about, how you're ahead of schedule with your rehab. And, I know it's important for you to make a timely return, but you don't want to rush things. So what percentage would you say?
Yeah. I would say I'm on go fuck yourself percentage. How about that? I'll tell the people that I'm ahead, but no one needs to know my numbers.
Okay.
No one's going to know my numbers because I am 2 steps ahead of everybody. And I'm going to be this entire time. I would say the rough timetable would probably be a Trev Timber return. I think that would be the storybook time frame for me to come back. But, shit, I might not even come back to wrestling. Honestly, I'm feeling good right now, physically being out, putting up weights in the gym again, which is good, getting back into that, but not wrestling has really been great. I'm making so much money outside of wrestling too, to focus on my other business ventures. And, whoever has the highest offer is who will get me when I come back. But you know, that's all you guys are gonna get from me. A magician never reveals all of his secrets, but I'll be back before you know it. I'll leave it at that.
All right, fair enough. And Frank the Clown, one of the most hated performers in Chicago. We see what he's doing at Warrior Wrestling, and obviously Freelance. He's got got that on lock. So, how much you feel that's helped you?
Yeah, working with Frank the Clown has done wonders for me. I think Frank's somebody that also saw something in me early on. I was looked at as probably just another young boy, helping him out when the confetti cannon incident happened, and then he saw that I made a name for myself off of that. And I think for him to see me take the ball and run with it, that made him realize what could be with us. And now he's got other clients. I don't see it being like a Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns type situation. It's just he does something different. He's got different clients, and he was with Robert Anthony before him and I were working together. So, currently Frank the Clown is the Freelance champion with Robert Anthony, and they're doing great things. If I come back, I've got some other sports to settle that'll keep me busy. I don't want to see my boy Frank lose the title, but if the title goes anywhere else, I'm immediately going to be trying to sink my teeth into taking it off whoever has its hands. But as long as it's with Frank the Clown, it's safe. Freelance is safe.
Definitely. And, anything you have to say about the last Freelance show when the fans threw stuff into the ring? I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were one of those assholes throwing toilet paper at me, weren't you?
Hey, man, everybody was doing it.
Oh, so if all the cool kids are doing it, you're doing it too, yeah? All right, for sure. Let me ask you something. If everybody else jumped off a bridge, would you as well?
No.
You hesitated really long there. I think you would. So, aside from the fact that you're a complete moron, yeah, I was assaulted by the fans the day before I had surgery, and they threw toilet paper at me. Not happy about it. And then I got pulled out of the show by, the Freelance young boys. And those kids know never to put their hands on me again. And they probably will never have a match on a Freelance show if I have anything to do with it, because I know them. And I will personally run out and ruin all of their matches. So if they want to do anything, they'll know better going forward. I've got some shit that I want to say to the Freelance fans at the next show, and I'm not going to be distracted by toilet paper or tampons, whatever the hell that they want to throw at me, whatever the hell they want to say. I don't care. I will talk over everybody, because nobody gets over at Trevor Outlaw's expense. Nobody.
Gotcha. And then, of course, last year, Freelance Wrestling returned for a huge event. Remember the name? And that was probably one of the better events of the year, if not the best one. And you were able to beat Kylie Rae in a tag team match. Is that one of your biggest moments? She hasn't gotten a win in Freelance since.
Yeah, I think I was the catalyst to her downfall, which is well deserved. I attacked her because she relinquished the title. I don't care that she stepped away from wrestling and then came back, because nobody was doing anything. Freelance wasn't doing anything. But, a technicality is a technicality. She did retire. And even though she came back since the time that there was lockdowns, she retired. Therefore, her title needed to be relinquished. I don't like that she just followed the rules and went with it. I would have went down kicking and screaming. And the fact that she's giving everybody opportunities now, who wants to wrestle Kylie? I'll wrestle everybody. Now that she's not the champion anymore, like, come on, what the hell? I think I wouldn't have even had to be in a tournament. I would have, if I got to wrestle her one-on-one that same night, and she didn't give up the title, I could have been the Freelance champion that night. I could have won the Freelance World Championship that night. but I had to do a bullshit tag. I had to do a bullshit tag match with her and her boyfriend instead, who also was one of my original trainers, who also overlooked me for all of his other wrestlers. Which, wait, where are his two stooges now? Oh, neither of them wrestle anymore. Everybody overlooks me. Everybody wants to say that I'm such a piece of shit, but I'm undeniable.
Definitely. Well, we'll see what happens when you get back. It seems like people have a lot of questions to answer.
Yeah, there's, I've had a lot of time to sit and reflect on things, and to kind of wrap things up here, I will say this: there is nothing more dangerous than leaving me alone with my thoughts and with time to process. And two, I said it earlier, nobody gets over at Trevor Outlaw's expense besides myself. And there is a long list of names of people who I have unfinished business with, people who have wronged me, and people who I think are in a more prominent position than I am, that quite frankly, I just don't think they deserve to be, because I'm better. So stay tuned.
Sounds good. And then I wanted to give you a chance to plug your merch, how we can help you.
Nah, I think I could do that. I could tell everybody where to go, but I'm gonna let you do that, because you know what? I don't give a shit if people buy my merch or not. I don't give a shit who follows me on social media and who doesn't, because everybody wanted to make such a fuss saying that I deserve to get hurt, but they were all buying my shit still. They were all, I was still winning matches. I was still being put in a big role. So, I don't need anybody. I don't need any of that sales. But I tell you what, I'm done here. You can do your job, and you can tell everybody to go find me on social media at blank. You could tell everybody to go find my merch at blank, and you can go blank yourself.